Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deeper into the fascinating world of Gia wood. Let's start by talking about what happens when Gia wood is harmed in a chart. This can give us clues about potential health issues. For instance, if you see metal restraining wood, it might point to head injuries. If wood is pierced, it could signal issues with the gallbladder. And if wood is burnt, it might suggest excessive liver fire. All of these conditions relate to the body parts that Gia wood represents. By figuring out which part is affected, we can not only identify health concerns but also understand what it means for one's overall fortune. This is just a quick look at the symbolic categories of Gia wood. You can definitely find more detailed materials out there, but our focus here is on the logical analysis. Now let's get into something really important: the favorable and unfavorable elements for Gia wood. This is crucial for accurate analysis. Each of the 10 heavenly stems has its own unique preferences, and understanding them is key. First up, Gia wood born in spring. In the lingering cold of early spring, fire is highly favorable, especially for those born in northern regions where it's colder. Think about it. Gia wood is like a young sapling just starting to grow. The ground is still cold. The warmer the temperature, the faster it grows. We see this in nature all the time. In early spring, growth is slow, but when a warm spell hits, the trees practically shoot up overnight. So temperature represented by fire is absolutely vital for Gia wood in spring. At this tender stage, what does it fear most? Metal, just like a sharp axe can chop down a young tree. Metal restrains the weak Gia wood and stops it from thriving. So, to keep it simple, for spring Gia wood, fire is a friend and metal is a foe. Next, let's talk about Gia wood born in autumn. The autumn air is dry and crisp. By this time, Gia wood has grown into a sturdy, mature tree, a pillar, ready to be useful. Because of the dryness, the tree itself can be quite dry. It also fears excessive water, which could cause its roots to rot. An autumn Gia wood tree is ready to be harvested and used for great things, like building houses or crafting beautiful furniture. Therefore, it can actually tolerate metal. In fact, it needs metal to be carved and shaped into something valuable. What it fears, however, is excessive earth. Why? Because too much earth can drain Gia wood's energy, essentially burying its potential and lowering its status. Now, let's discuss some general preferences that Gia wood has throughout all 4 seasons. It generally favors rainwater, Wu earth, and Bing fire. Let's break that down. Rainwater represents a heavy downpour, a real storm. Gui water, on the other hand, is like a gentle drizzle or morning dew. Its force is just too weak. It's like trying to feed a starving person a single grain of rice. It won't make a difference. Rainwater is the timely rain after a long drought. It pours down with just the right amount of force, giving Gia wood the substantial moisture it needs to truly flourish. That's why Gia wood loves rainwater. Then we have Wu earth, which represents the soil of mountains. If you look around in nature, you'll notice that big, tall trees grow on mountains, while vast plains are usually covered in grass. Why is that? Gia wood thrives in the rocky, sturdy soil of a mountain. On flat plains, if too many trees grow close together, they block the sunlight from each other, and many won't grow strong. Mountains, with their slopes and 3-dimensional structure, allow sunlight to reach all the trees, letting them all grow tall and powerful. This simple observation explains why mountains are full of trees and plains are full of grass. So, Gia wood favors Wu earth. Finally, we have Bing fire, which Gia wood favors in all 4 seasons. This is because Bing fire represents the sun, bringing light and warmth. When wood meets fire, it's a symbol of blooming and flourishing. It signifies achieving a higher status, realizing one's potential, and shining brightly. It's a sign of distinction and brilliance. So that's a more detailed look into the likes and dislikes of Gia wood. I hope this helps you understand the logic behind these principles a bit better. Diving deeper into the fascinating world of the 5 elements, focusing specifically on wood, this isn't just about trees and plants. It's about a dynamic energy that exists within the Bosy chart, and understanding its nuances can unlock a whole new level of insight. First things first, not all wood is the same. In the study of the 4 pillars of destiny, we make a crucial distinction between what we call living wood and dead wood. So, what makes wood living? Think of a healthy, thriving tree. What does it need? It needs solid ground to anchor itself and water to nourish it. It's the exact same principle in botany. Living wood is wood that has a root in the earthly branches of a chart. A root is like its foundation, giving it stability and strength. But that's only half the story. Just like a tree in the real world, this rooted wood also needs the presence of the water element to be considered truly alive. Water nurtures wood, allowing it to grow, flourish, and reach its full potential. So, to be living, we must meet two conditions. First, it must have a root in the earthly branches, and second, it must be accompanied by water. If either of these conditions is missing, if there's no root or no water to sustain it, we classify it as dead wood. This doesn't mean it's useless, but it behaves very differently, more like raw material, like timber, rather than a growing entity. Now, balance is key in everything, and wood is no exception. While it needs water, it dislikes an excessive amount. Too much water can overwhelm wood, causing it to float. Imagine a flood washing away a tree. The roots lose their grip and the tree is uprooted. In a botany chart, this can translate to a sense of instability or a lack of grounding. Similarly, wood has a challenging relationship with an excess of metal or earth. Think about what a metal axe does to a tree. It cuts it down. An overabundance of metal in a chart can chop or damage the wood element, representing obstacles, conflicts, or being held back. And what about earth? While we need soil to grow, too much earth can be detrimental. Picture a tiny sapling trying to push its way through a vast, dense mountain of rock and soil. The earth element consumes the energy of wood. An excess of it can stifle wood's growth, making it feel buried, restricted, or unable to express its true nature. The energy is spent just trying to survive, with little left over for thriving. But let's talk about a truly special and auspicious combination. When wood meets the right amount of fire, it can create a beautiful and powerful configuration known as wood-fire radiance. This is a highly favorable setup. Imagine wood feeding a fire, creating light, warmth, and brilliance. In a botany chart, this represents intelligence, creativity, and a shining charisma. It's a noble configuration that signifies great potential and high status. Individuals blessed with a well-balanced wood-fire radiance in their chart often possess the qualities of leadership and influence. Depending on the overall strength and harmony of the chart, they can rise to become distinguished figures, respected leaders, or important officials in their field. It's a sign of a person who can truly make their mark on the world. And that's a brief overview of the key characteristics of the wood element, from its life source to its interactions with other elements. There's always more to learn, of course, and I encourage you to continue exploring these concepts on your own. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this helpful and want to learn more, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next exploration. See you in the next video.